Hello, ladies, and welcome to day 12. Today is the 12th of September 2022. I don't know why that feels like a special day to me, but it does. And in the future, I'll look back on this day and smile. Today's going to be a little shorter than usual, but I hope that you're still blessed regardless. Our verse for today is 1 King chapter 19 and verse 12. And after the earthquake, a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire, the sound of a low whisper. Now, this verse comes from when Elijah was fleeing Horeb. He was fleeing Ahab and Jezebel, and he had come to God to, lay his complaints. And God said, go to this place. I'll pass by, and then a great and wonderful wind tore through the mountains and shattered the rocks. But the Lord wasn't in the wind. And after the wind, an earthquake, but the Lord was not in the earthquake. After the earthquake came a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire came a gentle whisper. And when Elijah heard it, he knew. He pulled his cloak over his face, went out and stood at the mouth of the cave. Then a voice said to him, "What are you doing here, Elijah?" I used to be very quick to raise my voice when I was angry or in an argument or just a heated discussion. It always felt like no one was listening to me, so I needed to increase my voice to be heard, to make impact. Perhaps you felt that way in the past, or perhaps you're in a situation where you feel that way now. I just realized I say perhaps a lot. But I want to remind you that God hears and He cares about everything. And I have everything in full caps because He actually does care about everything. Yesterday I mentioned how if you realize that you're not satisfied or at peace with your current situation and you're going to the point where you realize that you can't do it on your own, that you ask God for help. Today I want to tell you that He cares about everything, even the makeup you use. Even if you should have Fanta or Coke. Even if you say you want a nice bag or shoes, He cares about everything. He doesn't get you to a point where He says, "Oh, I'm no longer going with you here. This is where I draw the line." No. Whatever decision you're trying to make, whatever plans you've put together or God has put in your heart, I want you to remember that He cares about everything. So if your prayer is in a soft voice or a loud voice or whatever, if you're afraid to say it out loud, say it in a low whisper. He can hear you. That's one point. The second point is, I encourage you to choose a low whisper instead of a loud roar when it comes to dealing with people. I believe we touched on this briefly at the beginning of the challenge, but this is a reminder. Don't get me wrong, there's a season and a place for a loud roar, right? In the Bible, there's also a verse that says, "The kingdom of heaven suffers violence and the violence take it by force." There is a place for that. There's a place for loud roar, especially when the lies are being filtered into your mind or the minds of people around you. There is a place for a loud roar. In this particular verse, God wanted to speak to Elijah. It was time for communion. It was time for conversation, not war. In our day to day, as we commune and converse with people, let's take a page from the God of the universe, the most powerful force in the world. His power is unlimited, but he didn't feel the need to roar. He didn't feel the need to be loud. He spoke in a low whisper. I read somewhere a long time ago that the most powerful person in the room is the person that has the most balanced, leveled breathing pattern. Now, this means that there's nothing in that room that makes them afraid. You know, when you're afraid, your heart beats a little faster, perhaps your voice shakes a little bit, or sometimes your voice even goes higher. When you understand the power and the authority that is within you, you don't have to prove a point. You don't have to show yourself. You just know what you are capable of and you act accordingly, right? I mentioned, I think it was in day one, I can't remember, but I mentioned how if you have an employee, a person that works for you that constantly puts you in a place where you are yelling or shouting, let them go. You are changing the way you want to be because of someone else. It's not worth it. You know your power, you know your authority as the boss. If they're not living up to expectations and you believe they're teachable, then teach them. But if you believe they're not teachable, there's no need to show them that you can do this. Just do the thing. There's no need to threaten people they're going to fire them, or you're going to leave, or you're going to do whatever. Just do the thing. Right? I feel like we've gone to like 5 different directions, but this is where it's going tonight or this morning. So, a low whisper, because you know who you are and you know whose you belong to. A low whisper, like our Heavenly Father in heaven. A low whisper. Thank you for taking the time to listen. As usual, the grace of God is available for you and I. God bless you and have a great day.